power of imagination, how your mind builds tomorrow. Every single thing you see around you right now, your phone, the chair you are sitting on, the building you are in, none of it existed once. Someone, somewhere imagined it first. Before the car existed, a man without a horse, without a cart, imagined something that could move on its own. That imagination became the world we live in today. Today, we are exploring something ancient wisdom talked about long before psychology gave it a name: the power of imagination, and why the way you imagine your future might be shaping it more than you realize. 1. Imagination built the world around us. Think about radio. Think about the car. Someone imagined a cart without a horse, and that imagination, once impossible, became ordinary. All these things were, at one point in time, nothing but pure imagination. The human mind turned imagination into lived reality. What is imagination really? It's seeing a picture in the mind of something that doesn't yet exist. If you look at how ancient and tribal people spoke, you'll notice something interesting. Their words weren't abstract. Every phrase painted a picture, described an event, created an image in the mind. In fact, when humans first started writing, they exchanged information through pictures before they ever used letters. 2. Why imagination breaks our own rules. Here's something fascinating. When we imagine, we naturally cross the boundaries we've set for ourselves in everyday life. Things we've convinced ourselves are impossible in the real world suddenly become possible the moment we picture them in our minds. Think about it. That piece of land you want, that house, that car you keep dreaming about. When you imagine yourself owning it, driving it, living in it, again and again, what actually happens? Every sense-based object carries its own energy. Your imagination pulls that energy into the picture you are building in your mind. It gathers there, and through daily imagining, that energy becomes denser and denser until eventually it blossoms into the outer physical world. Imagination comes in two forms. One looks forward, toward the future. The other looks backward, replaying old memories again and again. 3. A child's imagination is limitless. Here's a simple story that captures something profound. A child once drew a picture. His father asked, "What did you draw, dear?" "A cow eating grass," the child said. "I can see the cow," said the father. "But where's the grass?" "Oh, the cow already ate it, Dad," the child replied. Children have an extraordinary imagination, but as they grow, we, the adults around them, slowly shrink it. As the cause and effect practical world takes over, a child's imagination naturally shrinks along with it. The poet Bharati once described the sound of rain as diamond rods joining the sky and the earth. What imagination! When imagination shows up in the mind, new paths open up for our problems. Suddenly, difficult things feel solvable. And this isn't just useful for a country's leader. It's just as necessary for the ordinary person managing an ordinary household and an everyday life. We call a child's imagination make-believe. We call a writer's imagination storytelling, something we enjoy through novels, plays, and films. And we call a leader's imagination about the future vision or foresight. 4. The same gift, 3 different uses. A child plays, knowing full well it's make-believe. A writer wants to stir emotions in someone else's mind and creates a story to do exactly that. A leader sees the future of a nation and shapes it to match what he saw. The extent to which we believe in our own imagination determines how much we actually achieve with it. What kind of tool we choose to make imagination into, that determines the value it brings back to us. We can either treat imagination as an idle daydream and go about our practical business, or we can spread that imagination across our minds as events we genuinely intend to bring about, and then look forward to the outcome with real enthusiasm. As we wish, so the mind accepts and works. The difference between a leader filled with imagination and one without it is something anyone can spot easily. It's because of imagination-filled geniuses throughout history that our world has advanced as far as it has. Think about the person who first imagined turning a stone into a wheel. Think about the person who, instead of simply cutting and eating the grain they found, imagined planting it as a crop for the future. 5. How the brain actually builds this. Thinking about a future that hasn't happened yet is, strangely, built entirely from past experiences we've already lived through. But that thinking about the future gives us a pleasure and a benefit similar to imagination itself. Doctors say that old memories carve pathways in the brain's neurons. So, thinking about the future combined with a memory of past success actually paves the road toward future success. Psychologists confirm this today. When we consciously clear out old familiar memories and recombine them in new ways in the mind, that's exactly when fresh imagination and creative power are born. 6. The balance. Too little, too much. Like everything else, imagination needs to be used in moderation. Some people live so deeply inside their imagination that they forget the practical world entirely, using imagination as an escape from real hardship. Ironically, some of these very people end up mentally unbalanced. On the other hand, people with no imagination at all cling to rigid stubbornness and blind certainty about everything. Their practical life just goes in circles, like a bullock tied to an oil press, walking the same worn path over and over. They live a flat, flavorless life, missing out on richness that imagination alone can bring. 7. The discipline of imagination. George Bernard Shaw once said, with his signature dry wit, "Very few men think more than 2 or 3 times a week. I have gained international fame for being a man who thinks once a week." When he said thinking, he meant real creative thinking, imagination. People in advertising and cinema need enormous imagination to do their work. One advertising executive put it simply, "Imagination isn't a gift handed down from the heavens. By habitually training the mind in that direction, day after day, we can actually grow our imagination." Look at the early stories of today's famous writers. You'll clearly see just how much they practiced and trained their imagination long before the world ever knew their names. Closing thought. Imagination isn't just for children, poets, or dreamers. It's the same tool that built every car, every invention, every nation's future. and it's the same tool sitting quietly in your own mind right now. The question is, are you using it to escape reality or to build the one you actually want? If this got you thinking differently about your own imagination, that's exactly what Inner Compass is here for. Subscribe, and let's keep exploring the mind, one idea at a time.